Canada commits to purchase F-35 fighter jets, vows massive defense spending hike in April 14th budget. Canada's Liberal government has announced that it plans to purchase 88 F-35 fighter jets from the giant U.S. arms manufacturer Lockheed Martin, and will significantly hike military spending in its 2022 budget, scheduled to be presented this Thursday. The minority Liberal government is assured parliamentary support for both measures, thanks to the 3-year confidence and supply agreement struck between Prime Justin Trudeau and New Democratic Party leader Jagmeet Singh March 21. Outside of Parliament, this governmental alliance will rely on the corporatist trade unions to suppress working-class opposition to war abroad and austerity for public services at home. The Trudeau government and Social Democratic NDP politicians, with the support of much of the corporate-controlled media, are claiming their political partnership will deliver for Canadians by creating a better, more prosperous future. In reality, the only constituencies the Liberal NDP alliance will deliver for are Canadian big business and its military. Behind rhetoric about making dental care available for all, strengthening healthcare, and making Parliament work for Canadians, the Liberals and NDP will work to ensure that Canadian imperialism's war machine gets the funding and equipment required to continue its provocative role in NATO's proxy war with Russia, while enforcing fiscal responsibility, i.e., public spending restraint, at home. The Liberal NDP deal coincided with a massive escalation of NATO's proxy war against Russia, in which Ottawa is playing a major and particularly aggressive role. Since NATO goaded Putin into invading Ukraine, the Trudeau government has sent tens of millions of dollars of offensive weaponry to Kiev, whose military forces are rife with far-right nationalists and neo-Nazis, and boosted Canada's military presence in the Baltic and Black Sea regions. The measures the Trudeau government is now taking to greatly expand the Canadian Armed Forces capabilities are aimed at ensuring Canadian imperialism can continue to wage war around the world in alliance with its U.S. military strategic partner for decades to come. Lockheed Martin describes the F-35 stealth fighter jet as the most lethal, survivable and connected fighter aircraft in the world. Its key features include enhanced electronic warfare, advanced sensors, and advanced fifth-generation weapons capability. The price tag for Canada's 88 jets will be $19 billion or about US $15 billion. This sum is 25% more than what the federal government, which has far and away the greatest fiscal powers and resources under Canada's constitution, provided the provinces and territories in 2020, under the Canada Social Transfer, to pay for social assistance, post-secondary and early childhood education and other social services. But the F-35 purchase is only the tip of the iceberg. By supporting the Liberal government through June 2025, the NDP is ensuring that it can enact a large chunk of the 70% hike in annual defense spending the Liberals pledged in June 2017 that they would implement over 9 years ending in 2026. Under this plan, the current defense budget of around $23 billion will rise to about $32 billion over the next 4 years. The additional funds are committed to funding, among other things, a new fleet of warships and armed drones. However, due to the advent of a new era of strategic competition between the great powers, i.e., the Canadian-backed U.S. military strategic offensives against Russia and China, these huge planned military spending increases are now being dismissed as grossly inadequate by the military top brass, the most influential ruling class think tanks, and the government itself. Defense Minister Anita Anand has boasted that she has brought before Cabinet various plans to increase Canada's defense spending to 2% of GDP and more. NATO is currently pressing all member states to raise defense budgets to at least 2% of GDP forthwith. To meet this goal, Canada would effectively need to double defense spending from its current $23 billion level. Parliamentary Budget Officer Yves Giroux told CBC that while Canada's current defense spending equates to 1.39% of GDP, an additional $20-25 billion annually would be needed to keep the budget above 2% of economic output if the effects of economic growth and inflation are taken into account. On top of this, there is strong support within the top echelons of the military and foreign policy establishment for a massive investment in modernizing NORAD, the North American Aerospace and Maritime Defense Command, a Cold War bilateral Canada-US continental defense structure. Canada's contribution to modernizing NORAD's early warning, surveillance system in the far north is estimated at $11 billion.